Hey, Scott,
Leave meeting.
what's going on there, Scotty?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear
Yeah, we
and
can hear
see
you.
you. You look like the most confused old man.
Yeah, he does. Some
You-
random old man joined our podcast
Why are
today.
you squinting like that?
It's bright outside.
What year
It
is
certainly
this?
is.
You kids and your internet.
Why
And I'm
can't
pretty
phones?
pretty sure I stepped on a crack too on the way out here.
Oh, come on, Melvin. You look confused as to why telephones can't just make calls anymore. What's all this shit on here? Hello, folks. Welcome to another episode of the Subtle Nerd Podcast. I'm Tim,
I'm Steven.
And I'm Scott.
my favorite. That should be my ringtone. When you call, I'm Scott. Oh, goodness. So how have we been? It's been a little while since we've recorded together. Scott.
As Tim
been a
kept
smidgen.
having plans, and then Steve kept having plans. I was on
Yeah.
here all by myself for like 4 weeks
Just-
in a row.
Trying to
Yeah.
have breakfast.
That's
Yeah.
exactly how that went down.
Yeah.
Good
It
times.
is exactly how it went down.
No last minute changes or anything.
Mm-mm. None.
Nope, I've been available every single week.
Guys, in an
What?
hour, I'm gonna be camping from yesterday. What?
Not my fault you don't know the schedule. Come on.
Yeah.
You just don't tell me the schedule until you're already doing it.
It's not my fault you don't know though. You're just
Yeah.
I'm in
supposed to know
Virginia.
things.
What? Why?
I thought that's what you do. I thought you know things.
I do, just not that.
What are those? What's the noises, Scott, coming from your world over there?
Do you hear a rustling?
No, it sounds like a squeaking. It's a
It
funny
does.
squeaking
It's a
sound.
Yes.
Kind of like a bird.
Is
Have
it
you
a
ever heard
bird?
a bird
Couldn't
before?
hear a garbage truck driving through a nitroglycerin plant.
All right. Well, for the sake of time, so I think Scott needs to go have breakfast or God knows what today. Camping breakfast.
Camping
Not sure.
breakfast.
Camping breakfast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So instead
Um,
of having breakfast in the kitchen, I've got my camp stove. I'm gonna go out there and just heat up some hot water and pour it into some dehydrated eggs.
As you should.
We were all out of dehydrated water though, so I couldn't find that.
Oh, this
Um,
guy.
But-
This guy indeed.
This guy. Steven has started screen sharing. Scott, because this was your idea, why don't you introduce?
You know, I have a shirt that looks just like that, and I just realized it. And I also have the same sunglasses.
Oh, I thought you meant you had a shirt that had the poster.
No, no.
He has a shirt that has many John Lovitz faces on it that he was trying to wear today.
That's
Yeah.
me. That's me.
So this one was one of my favorite movies. I've probably seen it about 100 times. Jack Nicholson just really cracks me up in this. I know you two both watched it recently. I don't know, was it your first time that you watched it recently, or is it first time in a long time?
First time in a long time.
Yeah, same for me. Like I'm pretty sure I first saw it when it like came out on video at Blockbuster
Yeah,
back in 97.
yeah.
97.
And I haven't watched it or really thought about it since. So watching it a few months, well, I guess not a few months, so a month or so
months.
ago, when we were talking about it, it was, I don't remember a lot of it. I didn't remember a lot of it. But it was good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought it up.
Yeah, it's been one of my favorites for a while. I think, you know, the 3 stars in this, Jack Nicholson, Greg Kinnear, and Helen Hunt, right? Like they did an awesome job. They really gelled together in this movie. And I don't know, Jack Nicholson and that little dog, it just cracks me every single time. So I don't know. I mean, we can start at the beginning, you know, kind of where he's just a regular old nut job trying to write his book, right? It's
Well,
the
yeah.
neighbor.
So I do, before we get into the actual movie, I want to talk about James L. Brooks, who was the director.
Simpsons.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, like one of the producers, executive producers, right, of The Simpsons. And like that's how 90% of us would know his name from. Like
Right.
every Simpsons episode right in the beginning. That's the last one of the last names you see. So when he was like, he's been directing movies a long time before that. What did he do? The Big Chill, Terms of Endearment, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, he really knocked it out of the park with this. Oh, and I had a good quote on him. All my stuff's everywhere right now.
I liked the Treehouse of Horror episodes that always had it as James Hell Brooks.
James Hell Brooks, and that's how
Amusing.
he's alternate. That's how he's also credited in Internet Movie Database as James Hell Brooks.
James Hell Brooks.
Alternate name. Alternatively. There we go. I did it. Yeah, guys.
Words. Words.
But yeah, he was pretty good. He did a great job. But yeah, if you guys want to kind of go through the movie, that would be fine with me, and then I'll throw in my little things here and there. But Scott, this one's yours, buddy.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm definitely curious to see what you guys thought of it after, watching it later. It's one thing to laugh at something from 24 years ago, but sometimes when you go back and watch it, it doesn't hold the same value, so to speak. So,
Great point.
I mean, I guess in the beginning there, right, where he's trying to write his book, kind of going along, and Greg Kinnear's character, what was his name? Jesus, I don't know why.
Simon.
No,
Simon,
Jesus.
yeah,
Not
Simon.
Jesus.
Simon Jesus.
I didn't say that. But anyway, so Simon's looking for his dog after Melvin dropped it down the garbage chute.
The opening scene. And
And
the credits aren't done.
so I don't know if you guys saw, but the funny thing about this, when they were casting, Betty White was approached about a role in this movie. She said no because of that scene, because that scene was in the movie.
Because of the dog?
The dog
Yeah,
going
she's an
down the
animal
garbage
rights
chute.
activist.
Mhm.
And she
I
didn't want to
s-
do it because it hurt dogs.
Yeah, I
Didn't
saw that in a
actually
few
hurt
places.
the dog, though, right?
Well, right,
I mean,
but she didn't want to show it. She didn't want to like glorify, like, here, this is what you can do with little dogs.
doesn't glorify it.
You
He's
can shove
obviously a
them
crazy
down the chute.
No. Anyway.
Right. Oh,
It's
I
all
agree with you. Man, Scott didn't like that fact at all. I'm 0 for 1 right now.
It says a bit of humor was added right after the statement. The animals used in this film were in no way mistreated, with the actors in this film were in no way mistreated.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But I don't know what you guys thought of like his initial personality. I don't know if you actually know anybody that's kind of like that too, where they have like very obsessive compulsive, very like everything is in order, and when it doesn't go the right way, they kind of like freak out a bit.
Yeah, I've worked with a few people like that.
Yeah.
I've never met anyone like that in my life and cannot possibly relate.
Yeah. I seem to know somebody. I can't think of who it is at the moment.
Shut up.
How many dogs? I was missing my dog for a while after you visited last time, Stephen. Did you see my dog? Hasn't been back since.
Stephen made a garbage chute just for that purpose at your house.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Savagery.
Yeah,
Here we go.
man, those birds are sawing some wood. Goodness gracious.
They hear you, Tim. So they're
That's-
like, I know him. He's king of the birds.
Come to me,
I-
my jungle friends.
I do have my big bird mug today.
That I was giggling at that earlier when you took a sip.
Wait,
Fresh.
the AC just came on out here too. I don't know if
Nice.
you can hear that as well.
The AC.
Yeah.
Hey, you leave the door open. You're heating the whole outside. Come on,
No,
kid.
the outside unit.
You're
Oh.
born in a barn.
I might have been. You never
Dad-
really know, right?
Dad would be furious right now. Furious, George.
Yeah. I mean, how do you really know if you were born in a barn? I mean, they tell you you were born in a hospital, but you can't really believe anything.
No, back of a bus, police car.
So there's this movie called As Good as It Gets that we were talking about.
Yeah. So we'll get back into that.
Way back in 1997.
So we haven't mentioned Cuba Gooding Jr. yet. I know
Dude.
he's kind of like not super like
There's-
high on the list anymore, but he did an amazing job in that movie, I thought.
Yeah, there's a ton of people in this movie. Like I take my little notes as I'm going through, and like I have half a page dedicated to just people who had screen time, had barely a speaking part. There's a lot of people that we know now that
Yeah.
were in this movie, like back in the day, like the beginning of the movie, Maya Rudolph. Like she's one of the police officers, and she
Yes.
has her first speaking role in this movie.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, she's right in the
that's
beginning.
cool.
Yeah. It was just
Now you're 1 for 2.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. It's like blink and you miss it moment. Like Carrie walked in the room as I was watching the movie, and like as she walked in, there's that scene. Carrie's like, "Hey, it's Maya Rudolph." It's like, dang it. Gotta write that down real quick. Like she was off screen before I got to the A in her name.
Yeah.
The second A.
And that's a wrap.
Yeah, right. So that was pretty cool. Yeah. So we got Cuba Gooding Jr., Brian Doyle Murray, Bill Murray's brother, Yardley Smith, who is Lisa Simpson. And her last name in this movie is, did anybody notice that?
Oh God, now I'm scrolling. Hold on.
Come on.
It just says Jackie on IMDb.
Her last name, the character's last name of her in this movie is Simpson, which I got a kick out of because James L. Brooks.
Is it really?
Yeah. Maya Rudolph, Lawrence Kasdan.
Yes, who was the doctor? Dr. Green.
He was one of the doctors. Wasn't he the first doctor, I think? Because the second doctor came in and just my world was blown up because I forgot he was in it. But yeah, Lawrence Kasdan, who wrote and did screenplay for many of our most loving movies, Empire, Return of the Jedi. And even Raiders of the Lost Ark. Mm-hmm. I think that might have been his earliest credit from what I glanced at was Raiders.
Yeah, we talked about him for the Raiders episode.
We did. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, we covered all 3 original Indiana Jones movies. Go back and watch them. Skeet Ulrich, Jamie Kennedy.
Yeah.
They were the 2 the
scoundrels.
Thugs.
Scruffy looking nerf herders.
Scruffy looking nerf herders.
I do love scoundrels.
Yes, he does love scoundrels. You can
see. We didn't plan that, folks. That was not planned. It's just we're all connected. All right. Harold Ramis was in this movie.
Yeah.
Mother of all things, great and small. Harold Ramis, him and his like mold collection. So good.
Spores and fungus.
Spores and fungus.
Do you love the scene like just before we get to meet Harold Ramis as the doctor where Melvin is talking to his publicist and he's like, I'm asking you to try, and she's like, he's like, I just need you to hear the words, Melvin, I'll try. She's like, Melvin, I'll try. And then he's like, thank you. And she tries to like connect with him and he's like, and like, she walks away like super pissed off and like turns back around to look at him, disgusted again before walking away. Like this man, like there's so many actors that reacted to him like that, which was just hilarious for me.
Mm-hmm. Hold on. I got another one. Lupe Ontiveros.
Goonies.
Yes, I looked up the pronunciations. I think I'm doing it right. Yeah, she was the hired maid.
The caretaker for the house, for Simon's house.
Yeah. Yeah, she came on screen. I was like, wait a minute, I know her.
She was in a bunch. She was in Goonies, right?
Yes.
There's Scott. Scott's with us. There he is. Yeah.
I couldn't see you for a second because the sun is starting to blind me a bit. That's
must be affecting your ears.
He just popped in there. What just popped in there?
I think I'm going to be assaulted by a bird behind me any minute now.
I think you might.
They're getting a little restless over here.
So some other, they are, aren't they? Some other characters, other actors. Shane Black was a cafe manager, which I didn't realize that was him. I had to look up, who was like guest starring or cameos in the movie. Shane Black did Lethal Weapon. He didn't direct them. He wrote them. Right? Is that right?
Didn't he also direct League of Extraordinary Gentlemen?
Was that our guy's final movie? Look that up.
I'm looking it up right now.
Jamie Kennedy. Missy Pyle was in it. She was one of the waitresses. Okay. All right. I think that exhausts my cameos. Yeah, look up that Shane Black thing. Because he's somebody like I didn't recognize, but then I saw his name pop up. I was like, wait a minute.
No, I'm wrong. He didn't do that.
Misinformation. Asterisks, folks.
Uncredited script doctor for Hunt for Red October
Wow, interesting.
and
What did he do?
Predator.
What did he do for Lethal Weapon? Predator. That's right.
He wrote. He was a
did
writer
write it.
for Lethal Weapon.
Okay, all of them, or just like the first? So I think he
One
had
and
something to
one
do
and
with,
two.
Didn't he have something to do with the TV show as well?
He
Not
did
that
this.
really.
He did a story for Lethal Weapon 2. He was a writer for Lethal Weapon 1.
Gotcha.
He did The Last Boy Scout. He wrote Last Action Hero. He was the director for Iron Man 3.
Oh,
Oh, that's why I feel like he's in our world. Okay, there it is. So there
for
you go,
those that
folks.
don't know, that's the third movie in the Iron Man series.
Thank you, Scott, for the
You're welcome.
clarification.
Yes.
All right, good. So yeah, if you weren't listening to us, you wouldn't know who Shane Black is. All right. Okay, I got off on a tangent. Scott.
Back to you.
Back to me. Huh? Did you ever see that scene where that dude in scanners where his head exploded?
I think we've made reference to that a couple of times.
We have.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's definitely some really cool kind of like one-liners in there. I don't know if you've gone through the quotes and stuff and the trivia that were on IMDb. I'm sure you all have, right? There's definitely some winners. Some of them you might not even be able to get away with today. Just,
We don't
that's-
have to quote them, do we?
That's a fun question, right? Like, could this movie get made today? Like, I definitely rewatching it. It wasn't. I mean, it definitely had some spots where I'm like, oh, that's nasty. But I think at the time it was more outrageous to me then than it was rewatching it yesterday.
yeah. And a lot of the things that he said, right, were really more related to his mental disorder than him actually like really being a particular way. It's just like his obsessive reaction to a lot of things.
Yeah.
Well, that, and I think you could argue that he does think a particular kind of way about a lot of people
Mhm.
based on
Yes.
what he says.
I mean,
Yeah.
it wasn't.
I think his condition exasperated that, but I think maybe that was just how he felt. But
Yeah, I think one of his
Man.
quotes was like, "White is right," and it's just like, ooh.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
He's definitely a bit of a nut job. It was kind of funny, that scene where that secretary grabs him in the hallway, though, right? And she's like, how do you write women so well?
Oh, so that was hold on. That was also in the IMDb. Because it was somebody else who said that. That was taken from someone else. Udall's
Oh, really?
response to the question about how he writes women is an actual response given by author John Updike when asked the same question.
Interesting.
John who? Sorry.
John Updike.
What did he write?
Flipping over to his page, is among the leading novelists of the late 20th century, having twice won the Pulitzer Prize.
Huh.
Let's see. He was a writer for The Witches of Eastwick.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of like going down a rabbit hole with him now.
Yeah. No.
Anywho,
I think of a man, then I take away reason and accountability.
He said it. Timmy's
I
our
have
clip
it.
now.
I got it right here. That's pretty
Jimmy
funny.
highlighted it.
I didn't look. There's no highlights. I had a month to highlight, but I didn't highlight.
When the pitchforks and torches come, we're sending them your way.
All right. They won't find me. I'm far enough off the main road.
James L. Brooks said he couldn't think of anyone to play Melvin Udall beside Jack Nicholson. He briefly considered Bill Murray, but said that would be a completely different movie.
It would be, but I think Bill Murray could pull it off.
He does that stuff in real life anyway, right? Like
Yeah.
Right.
the famous thing about him where he walked up to someone in a restaurant and like just picked food off their plate, looked dead at him and's like, no one's ever gonna believe you. And
Mhm.
then walked away.
Yeah. Like coming up to people on the street, like hiding their eyes behind them. So
And
one
Woody
thing.
Harrelson. Oh, sorry, Tim.
No. You go. You're on a roll.
I was just gonna say I was interested that Woody Harrelson read for the part of Simon as well. But according to Woody, he went to femme for the role, and the audition took place at Jack Nicholson's house. Like imagine that. And Woody said that he admits he was nervous meeting him. Like so
Of
Jack
course.
Nicholson's like, an actor of actors. So like everyone's like, I'm meeting Jack Nicholson. We're auditioning
Mm.
at his house for a movie. Like not just like I'm going to the studio. No, I'm going to this dude's house. This is obviously Jack Nicholson's movie.
They did eventually end up in a movie together, of course. Galaxia.
Oh, anger management.
Oh yeah.
That was hilarious.
So the only other person I have that James L. Brooks considered for the role of Melvin was Jeffrey Rush, but Rush declined it. I don't have anybody else besides Nicholson.
Jeffrey Rush would have been.
It could have been interesting. I don't think the movie would have been as big.
Yeah.
Well, because he would have done it like he just did. Jeffrey Rush had just done Shine around that time, I believe. Which was incredible as well.
Mhm.
Not like funny, haha. That was like super
Well,
serious.
Scott's got a little funny haha going on right now.
He does. The
I don't know
birds
if
are
you could hear
twirling
that
around
or not,
Scott's
but
head.
The AC unit just kind of finally went off. So I was like, great, it's quiet. And then all the condensation just dropped out of it and sounded like someone was peeing right next to me.
Well, we couldn't hear it if that's any.
We just
consolation,
assumed it was you.
right.
Oh. Am I sitting or standing?
Yes.
You're sitting.
You sure?
Yes.
Yeah, you're too still to be standing.
Yeah. You're a nervous stander.
Just,
Look at him go.
earthquake in Delaware, folks. You heard it here first.
I
Did one of the
hold
lawn
this tiny
chairs fall
tree in my
over?
hand.
Oh, look at it. It looks
Oh,
like you
here.
have like one of those gremlin pods on your left. Yeah, right there. See it? It's the top of that other tree. Anyway, so
Someone send help to Scott.
right.
They're about to have an outbreak and there's water very close.
Does anybody have who was considered for the Helen Hunt's role before? I looked for that.
Uma Thurman, but she was too young.
Okay. So apparently there were some other names, but I tried really hard to find this other older names. The studio didn't want Helen because
They thought she was too young.
also, yeah, too young, which I kind of agree. There's a bit of an age gap, 26-year age difference between the two actors. So I don't know, like in the movie, if Helen's supposed to be older or younger or whatever, but
They say she's supposed to be 44 in the movie.
She didn't look 44.
She
no,
does not look 44,
no.
but that's
I'd
what she was supposed to be in the movie.
I'd say late 20s, early 30s for her in that movie. Interesting. 44. Now there was a 26-year age difference. So there's a scene in the end that got a little cringy for me.
Mm,
You didn't
But-
want to see Jack Nicholson make out with Helen Hunt? Like, I don't understand.
Which
Tim.
wasn't originally scripted. Did you guys see that?
Yeah, James L. Brooks yelled, "Kiss her, man."
Yeah. They weren't supposed to kiss, but I guess it felt
Jack
right at the
Nicholson
moment.
just went for it.
He
It
did.
felt right at the moment, having the warm bread. They're not a couple of crazies. They're just a couple of people out looking for warm bread.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I definitely would love the part where he orders in the restaurant, and they were down in Maryland, supposedly, right? Like in the movie. I don't know where it
Oh,
really
yeah.
was filmed, but he was just like, I wonder if they have soft shells. And he asks everybody on the way in, like, if
Got hard
customers-
shells?
And then he just yells it across the room at the guy. He's like,
Yeah.
We'll have 2 of the soft shells. And the waiter's like, I'll tell your waiter.
Hard shells.
One-
He says hard shells.
Oh, he
He
does
was
say
asking
hard shells.
everybody for hard shells.
Hard shells. You're
And-
right.
And that was the funny phone conversation that they had right before they went to the right before they went on the trip that I just laughed. I giggled a lot. We're all from Maryland, so like crabs here is a big thing. And they were having a moment on the phone and Jack Nicholson's like, you can go ahead and I know what you're gonna ask me. He's like, at least I think you know. And she's like, oh my, like she's getting the what were you think I was going to ask you? And he's like, you wanted to know whether hard shell was in season since we're going to Maryland. And like, I'm like, yeah, that's the obvious question. Jesus, Helen Hunt, you're going to Maryland.
Yeah. What are you thinking about?
Oh, the birds chirping, the
Yeah.
siren songs.
Yeah.
Put the bird on.
Oh,
podcast
Melanie
now.
Griffin was also offered the role of Carol Conley.
Melanie
Hmm.
Griffith.
Yeah,
Interesting.
Oh,
but she was pregnant at the time.
Oh, how dare she?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. There's another one on here. That Melvin was initially offered to John Travolta.
Hmm.
I don't know if I would have loved that or not.
No.
When did Pulp Fiction come out?
94.
94. Yeah, so it would have been after that. And I don't know.
I mean, he could have, like, he would have put butts in the seats.
Yeah,
That's true.
I think, what did he do that year? Was it Broken Arrow? No, Broken Arrow was 96.
Yeah, dummy.
Yeah, he was quiet. You.
it wasn't Face Off, was it?
Oh my God, it might have been.
Face Off.
Let's
That's
rip
funny.
the faces off of these two actors who have no similar features whatsoever. We'll call the movie Face Off. What? Why?
Oh goodness. But yeah, well, we touched on it for a second. Could this movie get made today?
Oh, I mean, I don't know. People are so sensitive and they don't really take anything into context. So I don't think so.
My short answer is yes. My
You think so?
original answer when I was thinking about it, because that was one of the first things that popped up to my head, like when I was watching this, it was so cringy in the beginning to hear
Yeah.
him, antisemitic remarks and racist remarks and just being
Yeah.
a total asshole to everybody he meets, even Helen Hunt's character right in the beginning.
That's the character, though. you know?
Right. But yeah, you're right. That's the character. He has this kind of turnaround, which in, I guess, the OCD community, would he have that turnaround just that quickly in real life? Like, those habits have been ingrained in his head. What was he supposed to be, like 50 some years
Yeah.
old? Those have been ingrained in his head for 50 years. And all of a sudden he forgets to lock the door. That it kind of made me like, okay. Like after a couple days, I
They
forgot to
kind
lock
of
the
ad-
door. I'm cured.
They kind of addressed that though, right? In a
They did.
small sense, when he was saying that he never took the doctor's advice and took his medication. Like, he had it, he had the prescription, but he never took it.
True.
And he started taking, he's like, that was the compliment that he gave her at the restaurant. He's
Right.
like, after you came and told me that, I was up until 3 o'clock in the morning, and then I'd started taking my pills.
Hmm. Okay.
Because they
Right.
said, 50-60% of the time a pill helps. And he, like, in that moment realized he wanted more than what he was currently doing, and he realized he couldn't do that on his own.
So it could
So he
have been
started
medicine.
taking it. It could have been the
Yeah.
medicine that helped him.
All right, I'll buy what you're selling there. That's fine.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I still think this movie could have been made today because of the lessons learned by the main character. Like, he realized, like, oh, I did make these people feel terrible. Like, you have to get to a point where you make the audience uncomfortable for a little while
Right.
so they can see that big turnaround, because in the end you end up kind of rooting for him. Like, he is a lovable character, and he does care about other people. He just has his own way of showing it, and nobody's ever called him out before like that.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing it has going against it is it's not a remake. So, I mean,
It's true.
you can't make it today if you're not remaking.
Or doing a superhero movie.
Right.
If
Yeah.
it's not a superhero
They
movie,
turned
or a
Marvin
remake,
Udall into a superhero. Who would he be, like? Hand washing man?
hand washing man.
He runs through the city trying to make everybody wash their hands and not stepping on any cracks in the process.
You need that recording from the what is it, Gremlins 2. It's like, as soon as you exit the bathroom in the building, hey, wash your hands, mister.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, I get your point, though. I think that, yeah, in that context, maybe you could make it today. I mean,
Yeah.
I wonder if they would tone it down a bit. but I don't know.
Or use more current references. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of this was dated. Clothing, especially, was very dated.
You know, it was funny. Yesterday, I went into Tommy Bahama. I'm too young for that store still, I think. I want to
Somebody's
be
showing off.
I want to be that age though, where I can go in and I can pull off linen pants. But I can't. Anyway.
Anyway, so there's a point to this story.
Yeah.
Or are you
No,
just
he
showing off?
said he just says he wants to
Showing
wear
off.
linen pants, Tim.
So guys, I went to Tommy Bahama. That's it. That's my story.
Is Tommy Bahama like expensive or something?
I don't know. Is it?
I don't understand the reference.
I've never set foot.
I set foot yesterday for the first time.
And
I can't
He
wear
was
it.
just standing there
Oh.
naked in the dressing room and couldn't bring himself to put on any clothes.
Yeah.
ma'am, I need help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if they have a good shuffleboard uniform in there. I bet
God,
they would.
that would be amazing.
Matching uniforms for Scott's shuffleboard tournament. Yes,
wanna-
please.
Yeah. We should
I
get our
wanna-
own bowling shirts for shuffleboard team.
I want to dress like Judge Smalls from Caddyshack. Ted Knight's
All right, you're
character.
getting off topic again for some reason.
Absolutely
God,
am.
Tim. Jesus.
Yes,
Yeah.
this is my fault.
Tim's taking this one.
This is my fault.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
So Jack Nicholson and Helen Hunt, they won Best Actor and Best Actress Oscars respectively for this film. Greg Kinnear was nominated for Best Actor in the supporting role. Jack Nicholson is the only actor to date to ever star in a film which he could win the Oscar for Best Actor that would also receive a Best Actress Oscar and also be nominated for Best Actor in a supported role. The
Hmm.
previous one was One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest in '75.
Which
Wow.
he
He
and
won.
oh, what's her name? What's her name?
Louise Fletcher,
Louise Fletcher. Thank you.
and then Brad Dourif won the best supporting role.
How do you say his name?
Brad or is Dourif or Dorif?
I've always said Dorif, but maybe it's Dorif.
I don't know. That's sorry if I butchered your name when you watch this 35 years from now when we're famous.
So now he's never going to come on the show.
Now I
Thanks.
know. Sorry, Scott, you're gonna have to cross him off your list.
I mean, I'm down here with Harrison still. He came to my house down to the beach.
Good.
But Brad was great in the Lord of the Rings series for
Yes.
those of us
Warm
who
tongue.
have seen it.
Mm-hmm. Wait, what do you mean those of us who? Scott? It's not? What?
What
No
have I not
way.
seen?
Lord of the Rings?
Scott, a little closer,
saw-
please.
Every pore.
I
just
did. Like Scott is in stunning HD for
Somebody
that
needs
shot
some
You tell I use
Noxzema.
Bure?
with the
Oh, that's the
angelic
problem.
light coming from his right side there.
Yep. It's getting brighter.
I really want
is.
to put my sunglasses on, but
And
I
his
think I
eyes
look
are
like kind
getting
of a dick.
They are
Tighter.
just like, guys, if I could see you, it's getting very difficult to be outside.
I've made poor choices today.
The pollen count is very high.
It is
Scott's
actually.
eyes are swelling up.
So so this film only got the two awards, but it was nominated for Best Picture, Screenplay, Supporting Actor, Best Music for Hans Zimmer. That would have been cool. But what was the big film that year that took pretty much everything else?
Oh, damn it.
97.
Oh, Christ.
As soon as I
Wasn't
say it,
Titanic, was it?
yep, it was
Oh,
Titanic.
Yeah.
damn you.
Yeah, Titanic got Best Picture. I think didn't Cameron get the director too? I could be wrong on that.
Did you just
Um,
say you think that James Cameron directed it?
No. Yeah,
No,
he did get Best Director.
Best
yeah.
director.
I
Oh.
knew he was nominated. Yes, he did win.
It's like you were not aware that James Cameron directed Titanic.
Robin Williams beat out Greg Kinnear for Best Supporting Actor, which okay, that's fine. It was
That was Goodwill Hunting.
Goodwill
Yeah.
Hunting. Yes.
Yeah.
Kim Basinger got Best Supporting Actress for LA Confidential.
Oh my God, that movie was so good. We got to
But
do
yeah.
one on that.
Titanic pretty much took everything else.
Yeah.
Oh, Men in Black got best makeup. There we go. There's the exception.
You say best in show?
Best makeup.
Be-
The sun's getting too
Where
bright. He
did
can't
you
hear
hear
us.
best in show?
We should do best in show as well.
And the
It's the
German
birds, man. I
Shepherd
can't
won
hear
best in
anything over the
show.
birds.
Ugh. So throughout the movie, actually, he might only do it like 2-3 times. Kinnear does a spot on impression
Oh my God!
of
yes.
Nicholson, and it cracked me up. I think it was twice. It cracked me up both times.
And he does the one in front of him,
Yes. And
which
he
was
did it
great.
perfectly. So I looked, but I couldn't tell. I didn't find out if that was like a spontaneous thing or if that was written into the script. But it was.
Do you miss the mean man? Well, here I am, sweetheart.
Yep.
Yeah, that was great.
But he does it in front of him too when they're having
Mm-hmm.
a pep talk in Baltimore,
Mhm.
and he does it in front of him. That was so funny.
But it was just kind of glazed over, like no reaction. They didn't show Nicholson's reaction or Melvin's reaction, I guess. But it was so perfect and spot on. Like he's a good impressionist. Because didn't he start, or one of his earliest things was the soup on E, right?
Yes.
Wasn't he the
Yes.
first host?
Yes.
And then McHale came in.
Then
No,
Joel
no.
McHale, yeah.
No, it wasn't
One-
him. It
There
was
was somebody else.
he's in. Oh God, he's in the great.
Great. No, not Greg Kinnear.
Hold on, hold on.
You can you smell the smoke
What
burning?
The Rock is cooking? Hold on, because he's in
Yeah,
that-
there was
the
somebody
werewolf
between
movie.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
No. Please hold. Your call is important to us and will be answered in the order in which it was received.
Watch those
So
hands.
if I
Cursed.
get a little
He was in
lively here, the
Cursed.
kid just threw bread at me.
Quiet. Is it
What?
cursed? Craig
Who's on Reddit?
Kilborn.
Back here.
Craig
Did you get a
Kilborn.
little-
Greg Kilborn. That's right.
It was Craig Kilborn.
So I think Scott's mom just threw bread at him. What'd you say?
She'll
the
do
kids
that.
just threw bread behind me, so the birds might get a little lively here.
Oh, the
They want to see
kids.
their father be attacked by the Canadian geese that
That
live
would
by
be
the pond.
hilarious.
Yeah.
We just see wings come behind Scott's head.
Or that prehistoric
screen goes
snapping turtle
black.
that lives in there.
We just got our next short for reels. Keep throwing the bread. This is gonna be hilarious. Trust me.
Keep throwing the bread.
You know what this means now, Timmy? You're gonna have to go live from the emu paddock.
Oh God, I can't lose more earrings.
Kevin, stop it.
So I was looking through and I was watching some videos earlier today because we had an extra hour before we recorded. It was
Yeah.
a nice surprise.
Because
Have that extra
Timmy was
hour.
late.
A nice last
it.
minute surprise.
That's it. So one of the interviewers asked James L. Brooks, like, did you have to rewrite any lines? Did like Jack Nicholson, for example, refuse to say any of like the stuff that was written because some of it's pretty harsh? And he said, yeah, there was one line that Jack refused to say, and it took me by surprise what it was. It was, instead of like they were talking about, maybe we can go out and have a nice picnic and have some noodle salad, but Jack Nicholson had no idea what noodle salad was. And he was asking the crew, like, hey, do you guys know what noodle salad? Nobody knows what that is. So he insisted on saying noodle pudding. So on film, James Brooks couldn't get him to say noodle salad. He just said, we're going to go have some nice noodle pudding. And James Brooks was like, all right. Yeah, he probably made that face that Steve's making right now and that Scott is perpetually made because of the sun. But yeah, so James Brooks is asking around and going, what is noodle pudding? Like nobody knew. So he was able to kind of digitally turn it back into noodle salad in the final cut of the movie. But I just thought that was odd. All the nasty stuff Melvin says, like, yeah, I don't want to
Draw
say
the
noodle
line at
salad.
noodle
I draw the line at noodle salad. Absurd thing. I'll not have it in my film.
Right. Good stuff. And Kinnear, there's at one point, I guess it was towards the end of the movie, I think maybe they were packing up to go to Baltimore, and he dropped the dog off in Nicholson's room, or maybe it was after Baltimore. He dropped the dog off. He goes, "Mommy and Daddy love you," and it made Nicholson kind of
Oh, that was so funny.
made me laugh. Like
Mommy
that was
and
an
Daddy
LOL
here.
moment.
And Nicholson looked up at him, and Greg Kinnear's like, I couldn't resist.
Yep. That was definitely a laugh out loud moment for me in this movie.
That was funny too, where Craig Kinnear is like, I love you. And he's like, man, if that did it for me, I'd be the luckiest guy alive.
Yes. And that was like the sweetest freaking line.
Yeah.
Like it was kind of harsh, but kind of like really, really adorable at the same time.
Buddy.
Yeah. Showing
That
the
did it
growth.
for me.
Showing the growth.
It looks like Verdell was played by 6 different dogs too.
Yes.
Yep.
And the way they trained it to step over the lines was they digitally edit out obstacles.
Yeah.
So
That's pretty cool.
yeah, it's curious how you get a dog to step like that. I mean, it's not like a show pony where you just, you know.
Don't you be like me. Don't
Or
you be
show
like
you-
me.
Yeah, they wanted the dog to be more like Nicholson's character, who stepped over pretty much every
Right.
crack. But then I was watching some other stuff this morning in our hour, and when Nicholson went up to get his award, his Academy Award, he stepped over some cracks, and that was a nice little touch.
So I'll have you know, just because you keep referencing your extra hour,
There's a time difference in Delaware, damn it.
I was really
is.
busy last night in my dreams because I was digging a cave. So I put a lot of work in. I was
A-
digging a cave with the kids,
a
and it
bat
accidentally collapsed.
Oh dear.
And then we had to drive over a sheet of ice to get out of the mountain.
Are you rolling the dice as to what to say right now?
No, that's exactly what happened in my dream.
Drive over a sheet of ice. All right, good.
No, when you guys finally like woke me up at like 8:15, because
We
you
were
were late
scheduled for
calling me
8.
to remind me.
He was
in your
scheduled for
text
8.
messages.
believe
Can't you
he
guys pick up the
suggested it.
phone?
And then we had to call your mother.
We did.
You
I-
did call my mother. And you know what? You talked to her for 10 minutes before she even now came up to get me.
Well, you know how she gets. She just starts talking. And I'm like, how do I cut this woman off? She's not leaving any reasonable breaks. And then I had to be like, stop.
You could
That's
have
good
called my phone.
Send Nick upstairs.
think you
Nick
did.
will do what we need.
Oh,
Nope,
that's
no,
true.
There's no missed calls on my phone, buddy.
Oh, Steve, I thought you did call him.
I did call him. There is a missed call from me that he refused to answer.
Hmm.
I mean, just the one though.
Just one.
How many did you need?
Well, 7 at least.
How many gifts of us looking at our watch did you need before you woke up?
All 17 that we
asleep.
sent.
So I did send you a picture of the hot sauce. So come on.
It's true. All is forgiven. All is forgiven. But I'm gonna keep bringing it up.
All right. Do we need to wrap it up on as good as it gets here?
No. Do we have more stuff?
What's some favorite, Scott, what's your favorite scene in the whole movie?
I think I already quoted my favorite scene, right? It was the whole "I love you," and he's just like, because it really shows, like, it summarizes in a way. It's like one line that summarizes his journey in a way, right? Like,
Mhm.
if that did it for me, I'd be the luckiest guy. So it's
Yeah.
still like an obsessive way to like respond and kind of negative, but positive at the same time. And it's really like how he's morphed as a character. And
I
that
agree.
line really kind of sums up the movie for me in a way.
Mhm. No, I agree. It's a very touching moment.
Yeah.
But if you're not really paying attention, it's a funny moment. But
Right.
if you've been paying attention throughout this movie, yeah, it's a really good scene.
Yeah. How about you guys?
For me,
Favorite-
it's the compliment that he gives Helen Hunt.
Compliment? Yeah.
I thought that was a really great compliment. Like where like I think it shows he wanted to get out of his own way, and she was the reason,
Hmm.
the catalyst for that.
I don't know if I have a specific favorite moment besides the "Mommy and Daddy Love You," which was really, really funny. But Helen Hunt throughout this entire movie, like, she was working on Mad About You at the time, which I was a huge fan of. Like, who wasn't? Like, it was the NBC, like, they had Seinfeld and Mad About You, which were kind of in the same universe, and it was Mad About You was huge, so we knew who Helen Hunt was, and all of a sudden she's starring in this huge movie with Jack Nicholson. And she did an excellent job playing, a single mother of a sick kid who was living with her mother. But yeah, throughout the entire excuse me, I'm getting choked up. Throughout the entire movie, she did such an incredible job of portraying that character.
Didn't she do Twister before this one?
Was it before or after?
Twister was it 95? Was Twister
Okay.
95?
96.
I guess so.
96?
So yeah,
Yeah.
it was one movie before.
Yeah.
Doesn't invalidate what you're saying, Tim. By any means. I was just curious, like, because I knew she was doing the Mad About You thing, but I thought she had been in a couple of things prior.
She was in a lot in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
What was that other movie? Pay It Forward. That was around this time too, right?
Yeah.
It was a little later, I feel.
Yeah.
But, Kevin Spacey. That's right. That's who the other guy was in that movie. But yeah,
Twister 96, as good as it gets. Pay It Forward was 2000. She was in Castaway. She was in What Women Want. She was in 4 movies in the year 2000.
Yeah.
Goodness.
No, but she did an incredible job.
Yeah, absolutely.
So my question to the group, and Scott, I realize it's one of your favorite movies. Did this movie go too long?
No, because it's one of my favorites.
I know. I was
could
curious
watch-
to see what you thought.
But it's not because the movie needed to be that long. It's that I can watch the antics all day.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying, right? Like maybe it was to get the plot across, but and I might be in the minority here as like kind of a fanboy of the movie, right? But I could watch the antics for another 2 hours easily. I find it hilarious, but did it need to be to get the point across? Probably not.
The whole Baltimore, traveling to Baltimore could have been shortened for me. Like there was a lot of prep to go to Baltimore.
So they
and
would have
get in the
just gone
car.
to Atlantic City instead.
Like, yeah, did it need to be?
So it's not as far.
No, they needed the car ride. They needed the car ride. They needed, Melvin's CDs to get, for each mood. But yeah, they needed that long car ride, but it took away. Like I got kind of like, all right, wrap it up. Like the Baltimore thing, the scenes where Greg Kinnear is now living with Jack Nicholson. Yes, it's necessary for the movie, but we had so much buildup of them, like in the diner and at Helen Hunt's house. It felt like it could have been wrapped up 10, 15 minutes earlier.
I'm gonna cue my playlist for Timmy was slightly disappointed.
Is that the
Got 'em
emergency?
labeled on my CDs.
The
My
emergency one?
kit.
All right, Steve, do you just think it was a good amount of time, or was it running a little long, or could you watch their antics all day long?
I agree with Scott. I could definitely watch the antics because that kept me. I definitely was looking, now that you're mentioning it, I was definitely looking at the runtime a couple of moments during the film when I'm
Taking a watch, like,
I always feel like with the movies that go on a little bit longer, that the endings always just kind of feel a little more rushed. Like I felt like it was a little rushed at the end. Like, oh, now they've decided to have this relationship after the Baltimore ride, and like, okay. But like I feel like he still didn't get over everything, like even on the Baltimore ride, because like at dinner he completely blows everything with words. Like so how good was the car ride for him? And I'm like, we just wasted all this time on the car ride where we're supposed to do this growth, and he completely, like, he just delivered the best compliment ever and then completely ruins it 16 seconds later. Like,
they let you in with the house dress.
His growth is just,
which could really happen in real life.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, I see what you're saying. We probably could have wrapped it a smidge earlier. I think I would have put more opportunities for growth sooner. And maybe he would have started taking the blue pill earlier, instead of, wait a minute, that could be a couple different things.
He needed that too.
There's a 26 year age
difference.
Like I need your help, buddy. Now more than ever. But
Well, now there's so many options for that. There's wipes, there's yellow ones, and
Wait,
tell us
Sus-
why you know about all these options.
that's all I
Person
see
who's
on
younger-
Facebook now. It's
as-
like
as the
I turned-
youngest member of our trio.
I turned 40, and then all of a sudden, that's all the ads I see on Facebook. I don't know.
might have something to do with search history too.
I think it has a lot to do with search history.
And I blocked
Time to
most of
scrub that browser, Scott.
I don't
Damn
think
you in
can get
private,
good
you
search
failed
history
me.
from my browser. But, yeah.
Just, for someone, not me, of course, who's looking for this kind of thing, just so I can talk about it.
Asking for my brother, not for me.
When you type in all the dirty stuff in Google and then end it as a gift, it still counts as you searched for it.
As a gift. It's for my stupid brother in no way affects
Yeah.
my personal purchase choices.
Right.
He was asking, so I thought I would search.
He used my phone. I let somebody borrow my
He
phone.
used
for a
my
minute.
phone.
Darn it, kids.
Yeah.
God, he lives 7 hours
Rascals.
from you.
Yeah.
He's really into tech.
Ah,
Really into what?
Tech.
oh God. You and your phone. It's good stuff. All right. Well, I have exhausted my 3 coffee mugs of water.
Oh,
Water.
I
You know,
don't
you're supposed to put the beans in it before you drink it, right?
I don't drink coffee, and it's too warm for hot chocolate. So
So you drink the water and then you eat the beans and then it mixes in your stomach. Is that how
yeah,
it works for you?
yeah, it's kind of like Cookie Monster style. Just
he
go
does
crazy,
the truffle shuffle after he eats the beans.
as you
and-
should,
Yeah.
as you should.
Was it that old Mitch Hedberg joke? He's like, I saw a wino eating grapes, and I was like, dude, you gotta wait.
Dude, you gotta wait.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, yeah, my notes are exhausted.
And I'm spent.
Yep. This was a good movie. I'm glad I was forced to rewatch it because I think back in '97, I was at a point in a relationship I had where we would go to Blockbuster, rent the movie, we'd start the movie, but I can honestly tell you this is the first time I saw the ending.
I don't even want to know what you were doing, Timmy.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, the
Timmy,
ending was very new to me of
Timmy,
this movie.
Whoever you were dating, he sure does sound incredible.
He was a real nice guy.
All I'm hearing is that you were doing the hustle.
I was the luckiest guy in the world.
And you screamed it from the front of your pontoon boat.
I did. But yeah, I remembered, all the inappropriate references. I remembered that there was a dog in the movie. I remembered the OCD, but yeah, the ending was, this was my first time seeing the end of the movie. It was good. I'm glad you made me rewatch it.
No wonder you felt like the movie dragged on super long.
You're like,
Come, this wasn't
usually
10
I'm
minutes
doing
long
something
like
by
all the
now.
other
Yeah,
movies
I
I've been
was
watching
already-
in 1997.
I was preoccupied by an hour and a half in.
Timmy didn't need Netflix and chill. It's like,
Mm.
we're just gonna watch 10 minutes.
Blockbuster and do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Ha!
No chill involved back in the 90s, right? They just-
Indeed. All right. Well, this was good. I'm glad we did this.
Me too.
Yes,
I'm glad you guys were on time for once.
This
we
guy.
wanted to try extra hard for this episode specifically, Scott.
Yeah,
So-
and I appreciate it. And I appreciate you guys, getting on early.
Yeah, talking about you, talking
Yeah.
not to you.
So what I'm trying to do here is archive the fact that you two were late, not me. And that way when we watch this later, I'll be like, oh man, I was late for that. I didn't remember being late.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. I like the beard coming in though. I'm glad it's coming back.
Yeah, well, Are we mustaching again this summer?
Yes.
I think it's got to be a little,
Yes.
We can do that live too.
I'm thinking
there's
that we
many
go-
options.
mustache attached all the way to the burns this year. So just shave off the bottom.
You don't want to do handlebar?
I can do that too.
Well, I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to do just yet.
Oh my
I
god.
feel like handlebar.
Let's piss off the wives real bad. All of us do something completely crazy and different.
Scott's cop stash from last year was just incredible.
And we need to give a shout out to Mark Bastress about his mustache
Yeah.
as
Well,
well.
it was
That was
a
amazing.
very impressive mustache.
He
Mark
looked so sad in that picture where he's getting ready
He
to
cut
shave.
it off. He's like, this is
All right,
so I
guys.
can go back in the house.
Well, let's
All
wrap
right.
this one up. Let's thank everybody for watching and listening or doing whatever they do.
Thank all of you
Thank
for
you.
watching and listening. Definitely appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much. And looking forward to another fun week.
We'll
Yeah.
see you soon, sweetheart.
We there he is.
Yeah.
All right, stop recording.